his memory. The chief executive of Proudly SA says a lack of local demand remains the greatest obstacle to the country's economic growth. In its efforts to encourage localization, Proudly SA is having an event called the Buy Local Summit and Expo, themed localization as a driver of economic reconstruction and recovery. To tell us more, Proudly SA CEO Eustace Mashimbye joins us via Zoom. Thank you very much, Mr. Mashimbye, for your time this evening. So tell us first off, why you think there is not sufficient local support for local products. What's lacking from local buyers? Why are they not trusting our products?
Good evening, and thank you for having me. I think the biggest challenge that we are seeing, and I'm going to try and break it down per sector of society, is that we are seeing that in the private sector, more can be done, and that's why through this Buy Local Summit that we are going to host from the 14th to the 16th, we are showcasing those entities who have taken a lead and are going to deliver localization commitments, showing an example to others, to their peers, that it can be done to support locally made products. You can look at your value chains and entrench within those local procurement, policies and practices, and that's what we're looking for. There's more definitely that can be done. We want to see retailers increase shelf space for local content. We want to see consumers actively seek out those locally made products so that it becomes an incentive to the retailers to increase levels of local content on their shelves, because we know that retailers will only, put on their shelves products that they know will fly off the shelves. We want to see the public sector come to the party in a big way through their purchasing decisions. There's legislation in place, despite the challenges that are there with regards to procurement regulations in the public sector. We think there's more that can be done across different spheres, at local government level, in the state-owned entities, at provincial government level. We think there's much more that can be done, and that's why we convened this summit, so that all of these sectors of society can be under one virtual roof, and then they can discuss what it is that can be done by each of them to assist with the creation of jobs and growing the economy through our local procurement decisions.
So it's a bit of a chicken and egg situation, in the sense that you're absolutely right that retailers will only sell what consumers buy, but to a certain degree, consumers are very much influenced by what is trending on the shelves and what retailers are putting in their faces in terms of what is local. So in terms of trying to stimulate industry and the private sector into buying local, you look like you've got a good handle on that. How do we address individual consumers, ordinary South Africans on the street, in terms of trying to encourage them to support local?
So as Proudly South African, the bulk of our efforts are directed at consumer education programs. We have to educate consumers, and what we have seen to be delivering a lot of positive results for us is the use of social media. Social media gives you instant feedback. You already know after putting out content how consumers feel about it. We put out products that are locally made on a day-to-day basis, and through that, it becomes like a dipstick survey of some sort, because the feedback tells us that consumers want to know which products are locally made. Once they understand the economic impact of their purchasing decisions, they want to support. What we are meant to do as Proudly South African is promote accessibility of those locally made products. Hence the need for us to convene an expo like this, where we are going to showcase locally made products to consumers, but also to buyers. I mean, those buyers who represent big business are consumers in their own right, even for their own households. And so through this expo, we are showcasing the products that are locally made. We even have an online store through which we are making it easy for South Africans to go into a platform where you can shop and buy, knowing that every single product that you're going to find on that platform is locally made and is of a high quality, and that is competitively priced. And so that is the role of Proudly South African. Backed up by consumer education, you definitely need to grow the accessibility of locally made products and services.
And if you're talking accessibility, that's not only for consumers, that's also for local producers. They need to have easy, facilitated access to market. And obviously, Proudly SA is trying to facilitate that with that online platform where the producer and the consumer are connected. Generally, in terms of policy, do you think South African policy in terms of production supports local producers?
You see, because you can't necessarily come up with legislation and policy that forces the private sector, as an example, to buy local, because then you will be caught on the wrong side of WTO regulations. And we also, as a country, have trade agreements with different trading blocs and regions and countries. You don't necessarily want to have policy that will result in some of those having challenges attached to them. But what we do is through what we call local procurement commitments. We have entities themselves giving local procurement commitments. In fact, on the 15th at the Buy Local Summit Expo, like I said, you are going to see all of those entities that have made local procurement commitments insofar as their raw materials are concerned, their day-to-day consumables are concerned, their components are concerned. We've come up with a portal called the Market Access Platform, where as a buyer, you know that if you go into that platform, you can find suppliers that you can then enlist in your own individual supply chain databases and buy from them. So we are seeing individual corporates doing it. We are trying to get a lot of industry level commitments that can then be filtered down to individual corporates that are affiliated to those industry bodies that are giving us the commitments. So our hands are quite full. There's a lot of work still to be done, but based on the success stories that we've had over the past couple of years, we have a sense that a lot of companies are introducing policies themselves that talk to this, and we are hoping that we'll get a lot more corporates volunteering to support the cause. And it starts at shareholder level. If the shareholders support that their individual executive teams can implement this, then the future is bright for this country.
Lastly, give us some quick details on when this Buy Local Summit Expo is going to be held.
The Buy Local Summit and Expo is going to be hosted from the 14th to the 16th of March. It's a hybrid event, but only with the panelists and presenters coming in, to share their knowledge and to talk about the various programs that they have put in place for delegates. Because it's a national event, I think what the pandemic has done is it has given us an opportunity to really make this a national event, in that anyone based within the borders of South Africa can join in. On buylocalsummit.co.za, you go in there, you register, you get a link that enables you to access the program and to choose whichever sessions you want to be part of, to visit the virtual expo that will be hosted, especially because of the work that we've done over the past couple of weeks, getting buyers to attend that expo so that they can see the products that are made, and they can see the suppliers that they can buy from. So buylocalsummit.co.za is where you can register and be part of all of that, which we have put together in driving this localization agenda as part of the broader Buy Local mandate that we have as proudly South African.
Exciting stuff. Thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Eustace Mashimbye, Chief Executive of Proudly SA. President Cyril Ramaphosa is promising to tackle the issue of service delivery.